It's May, and you're about to watch a really old video. Ding, ding, get it, Disney Channel? You're about to watch a video I filmed in January and uploaded in February, but didn't make public till May. Bear with me, it's old, it's probably a little outdated, but I don't really care. So, enjoy! That took forever. Hi! I'm still alive, I still exist, I'm still here. And you know, new year, new me, new YouTube, which is exactly what I'm gonna be talking about last year. Specifically, my favorite books of last year. I have 7 here, and I didn't mean to pick 7. 7, but it just happened. So that's what we're gonna do. These books are in chronological order because for the first time this year, I kept track of the books I read, and I'm gonna do it again. I read exactly 30 books this year. I didn't mean to read exactly 30, I was just writing them down, I was not counting them. 30 was actually really good. I don't think I've ever read that many books in a single year. So, you know what, I figured we're gonna up it this year. I'm gonna try to read 40. I want to say 50, but I don't actually think I can accomplish 50, so I'm gonna say 40. And, you know, if we get to 50, that'll be great. So, my favorite books of this year, I'm going to be doing in chronological order, not most favorite, least favorite. It's fine. I already forgot what the first... Oh, the first one! The first book is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. It was everything I could have hoped for in a final book of a trilogy. Trilogies are not my favorite thing. They just are, there's always something wrong with them. The middle book isn't as good, the middle book is way better than the last book, the last book's really disappointing, or the main character gets really depressed and goes on a suicide binge, or some weird things start happening. Can you see what books I'm, yeah. But this book was nothing short of amazing. I still think I like Clockwork Prince again. I'm probably gonna reread the whole trilogy again this year, because why not? Like, it's good. But I think I would have to give this one an 8 out of 10, I think. No, 7 out of 10, which is kind of average for a Cassandra Clare book. No, it's kind of high average. I feel like the low would be like a 5 out of 10, City of Ashes. So, yeah, you know, okay. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 7.5 out of 10? A 75%? No, that's way too low. An 8 out of 10. Next! Ooh! This book was probably one of my favorite books of all time. And that is The Martian by Andy Weir. I saw the movie before I read the book. I finally got to the book this year around like May or June or something like that. And it was amazing. It was even better than the movie. I've watched the movie, like when I first saw it, I watched it. And then I immediately watched it again. I keep watching it, and it never disappoints me. Like, I never get tired of it. But this book was even funnier, and it was even more science-y. That's a word. I just love Andy Weir's writing, his comedy, his humor. And I've come to find, after reading this book and a couple others, that I think that's something I really like in a book. I really, really like a funny writer. Funny writing, funny dialogue. Humor is just like my thing. I really am pulled towards it, and that's why I love this book. 9 out of 10. I'm giving this book a 9 out of 10. It was that good. Next is this book, which if you haven't been on my channel, you probably have no idea what it is. It's Someday Maybe by Lauren Graham, who plays Lorelai Gilmore on Gilmore Girls. I feel so repetitive. Ever since I read this book, I feel like I can't stop talking about it because I loved it that much, and I feel like reading it this year, this time in my life, it had so much more of an impact on me. Lauren Graham's a hilarious writer, and I need to read her, what is it, an autobiography or something like that? But this book is really funny too, and I can't help wondering how closely related this is to her life. This book really had an impact on my life. It was one of those books where I read it, and I really feel like I learned something, but also one of those books where I read it and I feel like it's very familiar, like I've read it before. You know what I mean? I just feel very closely related to it. It feels very relatable to me, and I gain a lot of introspective on the topics she talks about. Am I supposed to be talking about what these books are about? Just look them up. This one, she's an actress. She goes to New York. Well, she's been living in New York. She has a 3-year deadline. And we start where she has 6 months left till her 3-year deadline is up to become a working actress. And we followed that. And it's just really funny. I'm actually rereading it right now because it's the kind of book where I feel like I can not only connect to it, but also learn from it. It was really good, and it's always going to be really good to me, even though I feel like a lot of people probably wouldn't like this book as much as I do, but I find it so relatable that I think I like it more. I think I would have to say 8 out of 10 for this one, too. If you didn't see this one coming, you don't know me at all. The next one is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, which is the last book in the Mortal Instruments series. I had read, before 2017, I had read all of, there they are, the Mortal Instruments book. And I had never read this one because look at it. And yeah, over the summer, I just decided to reread the entire series and then finally read this book. And I think I always liked this series more than The Infernal Devices for whatever reason. I don't really know. So I like this book even more than I liked Clockwork Princess. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I don't care also. So I'm gonna give this book a 9 out of 10 because it's just that good. And I need to continue the series. I read Bane Chronicles, but I haven't got anywhere. I got Shadowhunter Academy. I got it for myself. So I will be reading that one, and then finally on to The Lady Midnight and those. And then the other books should be coming out by the time I finally get to them, so. Did I mention I like the movie better than the show? Next one! The next book is probably my favorite book of 2017. And that is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. A short little book. You wouldn't expect much from it. I went in not really knowing anything, and you really can't go in knowing anything, because it's that kind of book where you can't really explain it. But it was amazing. Look, listen, fam. This book was 225 pages. That's it. That's it. And it was my favorite book. It doesn't feel that short because it's so good. Her writing style is amazing. The plot was so well worked out, and the tone it has, I mean, it's so good. This was my favorite book by far of 2017, and it gets a 10 out of 10, and that's all I have to say about it. So actually, the last 2 books I have here were the last 2 books I read in 2017. I mean, I also read a few stories out of My True Love Gave to Me, but I'm not counting that because, like, I didn't finish the book, even though it's short story. I don't know. I don't really know how to count short stories that are in a bind-up, so we're just gonna ignore them. But the second to last book I read in 2017 that is making this favorites list is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I was not expecting anything amazing out of this book. I mean, it was in the bargain section at Books A Million, and it had just come out, and that's not normal for a new release. So I was thinking, well, maybe it just didn't do well on sales, or I don't know. So I bought it, and I just read it on a whim, and it was really good. I'll explain a little bit about this one in case you don't know. It's like a fantasy novel where there's this game show type feel. I think it's magical realism or fantasy. I don't know. What is magical realism? What are labels? I don't know. It made me question every conclusion I came to, and it was just good. This is an 8 out of 10. I'm hoping good things are to come with the rest of these books. Maybe it's a duology. I don't know. I still don't know anything about that. The last book that I read in 2017, I actually kind of read the first 20 pages before I read Caraval, and it did take me a long time to read, but I don't really care. I still enjoyed it, and that is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I've read all the other John Green books. Oh wait, excluding An Abundance of Catherine and Will Grayson. So I haven't read all of John Green books. Out of all the ones I've read, though, I don't know, they all have a different feel to me. This one was definitely the most moving, in my opinion, but I do like all of John Green's books. They all have one thing in common, and that is his writing style. Obviously, he's probably my favorite writer that I've ever read. It's very humorous and very intellectual at the same time, and I always like that. This one definitely had more serious content, and I definitely felt that. He made me feel how the main character felt and how someone with mental health issues could feel. And I think that's why it was one of my favorite books of this year. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think so far, it's my favorite John Green book. I think I've said that before, and it's still true as far as I'm concerned. So, those were all the books I read in 2017, and all my favorite books in 2017, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye! That never gets old.